The face checker. I think that could be a valid nickname.
Definitely could.
Well, here we are in picks and bans, and what will Rebels Anarchy ban first on the blue side? Azir.
So we saw a lot of those pocket bans last time from Najin. They may not have the same luxury of pocket bans when they are on the red side and have to maybe take out the Callista.
The Zed will still be banned, however.
That's not too surprising. And the Victor. So target bans against Goong here. Goong not with the largest champion pool. You see the Cassiopeia banned in the last game. They could go for 3 mid lane bans and force Goong onto something really weird. Remember that Zed is also a ban against Goong. He has played it this season.
That is true, and he's actually a fairly good Zed player.
Yeah, he's a very good Zed player.
So Thresh gonna be the next ban. No surprise. So I wonder if Najin will stick with the same bans that they did in game 1 and ban the Hecarim as their last one. Cassiopeia.
All right, so Goong now with the LeBlanc nerfs. Remember, Goong is also an Ahri player, so we could see the Ahri come out here. He's an okay Orianna player, and there's going to be a Ryze first pick in this one.
So Callista was banned on red side, like we always see, and Ryze, first pick. What will be the answer from Najin mFire?
Yeah, Goong is a TF player. He can play Ahri. He can play Kassadin, but I'm not a big fan of Kassadin in the current meta. It's too easy just to take control. So there are a couple champions left here for Goong.
Ezreal is available.
That's true. We didn't see the Ezreal come through yet. You'd have to imagine Goong can play that. We know Mickey can. But there's also the threat of the Ryze in the mid lane. We saw Faker absolutely wreck Mickey's Runeglaive Ezreal with Ryze because he could just move forward with his ultimate, catch him with the Rune Prison in 100 to 0 him in a combo.
So there are answers to the Runeglaive Ezreal that teams have been starting to show in Champions. Ryze being one of them, Yasuo possibly one of them.
Yeah, if we're to believe what Mickey was doing with his counter pick.
It was sound in theory.
I don't think you're going to take the Ezreal if you see this Ryze, if there's a possibility that it can go mid lane, given how well Faker did in that matchup. So
could Anarchy possibly pick the Runeglaive Ezreal here and take it mid lane? We know that Goong can play Twisted Fate, and we have seen a Twisted Fate pick yesterday, I think, to dissuade the Runeglaive Ezreal pick.
Yeah, definitely a possibility, but they are going to switch over at the last second, so it will be Alistair and Evelyn for Anarchy. And now, where is Najin going to go with this? They could definitely go with the Kennen support again, try to get some sort of bully lane going. They could take the Annie, which is surprisingly available in the matches tonight. Usually we see that as a ban.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Najin mFire wants to lock in along with possibly this Kennen. And what are they? What do you think will be coming out?
Now, this Kennen is a flex pick. So in terms of what comes out, it theoretically could go into top or mid lane. Probably not going to happen, but there's a possible Hecarim pick. This is blind, and there's still a Maokai and a Rumble up, so they're going to need a little bit more itemization with this Hecarim.
And there's also the risk that the Ryze will be taken top lane against the Hecarim itself, and that's not a very favorable matchup for the Hecarim.
He's going to get stopped up whenever he tries to go in, so maybe trying to convince Anarchy that it should be a top lane Ryze instead of a mid.
Alright, so Sangyun just pressing the random button, hoping to find inspiration. You know what I want to see? I want to see a mid lane Quinn and just play like a massive assassin.
There you go. Well, that is something that Mickey might be willing to try. Mickey is going to have to pick his mid laner blind this game, and Sangyun should just go for the Corki. They need something that has an early game power spike to get the Ryze into the ability to carry in the late game.
So could you possibly, you see the Yasuo, and the Yasuo will be picked.
Wow, so Yasuo, now we don't know whether Ixu or Mickey will be playing that, so they pick some flex picks that we've seen in both lanes. And why they picked the Yasuo is, again, they're doubling down on, we do not want Goong to pick Runeglaive Ezreal. We now have two answers to it. We can block all your abilities. We can block that very powerful True Shot Barrage with the Wind Wall. Do not pick the Ringglaive Ezreal. Will Najin go for it anyway? How much hubris do they have?
Oh boy. They're thinking about it. Goong talking a lot with his coaches and his team right now.
I think you should just go for an Orianna here, something very safe that you're going to be able to control the lane with. No, you should definitely not do that. If there is going to be a mid lane Yasuo here,
yeah,
that would be extremely painful. Okay.
And you have the Rise to lock him down during team fights as well. So I don't know why they exactly went for this pick here.
I am also confused. I guess they assume that it's going to be Ixu on the Rise and not thinking that Ixu, who's really mostly played Maokai and Hecarim this season, would be going for a top lane Yasuo pick. But we've seen that from Someday in the past. So, but also when you see these picks, now you have to deal with an AD champion as Kassadin early. You're going to get quite harassed in this lane. And the last time that Goong picked this Kassadin, he was shoved in, and his entire team's jungle was destroyed and his lanes were dived. So I am not convinced that the Kassadin is a good pick for Goong here. Could have just had a conservative wave clear champion. Let Duke scale up into carry mode on this Hecarim and done work.
Well, it looks like Watch may be spending a lot of time in that mid lane to make sure Goong can get the farm he needs to kind of get into that mid game and the late game, because Yasuo will bully out this Kassadin fairly easily.
Yeah, they only have one knockup too to set up Yasuo ultimates for Anarchy. Just having that Pulverize is the only ability that they have to rely on. Now, Najin obviously going to have a strong skirmishing team with the Gragas and the Kassadin, so the comp is good. It's just the lane matchups aren't there. And if we think about how Najin won last time, it was off the strength of that early game in the lane. So can they do it again, or will Anarchy make a comeback? Let's get into game 2.
A lot of cheers for Anarchy.
Well, I think they deserve a cheer to lift their spirits after the last game.
All right, we see a standard fan for both teams. I guess Anarchy doesn't want to try anything aggressive after the disastrous level 1 from last game.
Najin played that out so beautifully.
They did. So, thing of beauty.
It was. I'm glad I was there to witness it with you, Barry. We can have this memory together forever.
I will cherish it forever in law school when I'm crying my eyes out.
Yep. You'll just think about the life you could have had.
Traveling the world.
Yep, and then you'll become a spiteful and regretful young man.
Well, maybe then I'll go on to own a team, and then I'll be suspended by Riot.
I was not suspended by Riot.
Not
Thank
you. I'm not talking about you.
That's right. Maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe that'll be your future. Well, we're just going to see Najin here over at the Gromp, as Ixu doesn't look like he's going to be doing any kind of early game jungling, surprisingly. Not going to be hitting that level 2 before TPing, just going to go straight into the lane instead. That's something we don't see very much these days.
Well, standard lanes looks like for both Anarchy and Najin mFire. Well,
I mean that's going to be a big advantage for Najin, at least in the bottom side. Of course, that top side it may be more of an issue,
especially with the Rise. If he takes the level 1 E at level 1, that is so much harass that he can put out on the Hecarim and really punish Hecarim for whenever he wants to go for CS.
Well, the bright spot here for Duke is he is going to have a level advantage, and he is going to have a decent amount of kill pressure with an Ignite. So if Watch gets up into that top side, and really the one rule against playing Najin this season is do not let them have Gragas, because Watch is actually pretty good mechanically on that champion and has been able to set up a lot of plays.
Well, we will see how the junglers decide to play this out. Duke completes his follow and will now probably TP into the top lane. Actually don't know what the creep situation is over there. And, as expected, Goong is pushed into his turret.
Yeah, and if Lyra is smart, he's just going to be able to have free reign over the enemy jungle. And Najin lost their last game because Goon got shoved in early on the Kassadin. You just give up too much control these days. And it takes Kassadin so long to get rolling. There's Rod of Ages, and then having to stack that up 2 to 3 core items before he can really do much of anything at all. Sure, he's powerful if he can get to that point without falling behind by 5, 10K gold, but it's just a risk that isn't worth taking because a smart team is capable of abusing it relatively easily.
Yep, and this top lane, fairly quiet so far. And yeah, just quiet across the board. Snowflower took a lot of damage, however.
Yeah, and now Watch going to come into the mid lane for a gank once this one, but the wave is pushing definitely in Mickey's favor right now, so Watch really not going to be able to find much of anything, but just pushing out just in case he needs to counter gank right now. You can see he's not doing the Raptors, he's just sitting there assuming that Evelyn is going to come. Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez.
Mickey goes in, but Watch isn't able to really make a play. Instead, they're going to bounce the wave right now. They want to make sure Goong is safe.
Well, Mickey chugged his potion, and we'll see how much he can heal off, or if he will stay safe in that lane. And looks like Goong may want a recall here. Yep, and he will.
Yes, he will. So, Ixu, going to be in a place where he can free farm early in this game. That's going to help him immensely in terms of hitting his item timings. And he's going to be on about the same timer as Kassadin, except, like you were saying, Barry, Kassadin, if he comes near to this rise, is going to be repeatedly grabbed by Rune Prison and killed immediately. The execution is so high if Goon goes into this fight.
Well, even though with the buffs to the with the nerfs to the cooldown rather on his Rune Prison, he won't be able to get the same kind of chain snaring at level 11. However, this could be very, very bad for Duke.
And there's the dive in. Snowflower gets the knock up into the wall. Duke is going to go down for first blood to Ixu. That is about as bad as it could go. And in this 1v1, an early roam from Snowflower. And Snowflower is a player who likes to make early plays on the map. Now, you have to punish it. You need to just deny Songyun or dive him or do something, but watch just a little bit late into that top side. And because he's already up there, there's not going to be any dragon taken from this either.
Well, Ixu still has his teleport and may be looking to teleport into top lane. No, he's just going to walk back. So teleport advantage will stay for Rebels Anarchy.
Yeah, Pure going to come right down. Going to throw a shuriken out, get a little bit of damage, but went for the deep ward at the red buff. So will Najin try and make a play, when the second red buff spawns, try and get into the enemy jungle and do something with that information, because that is the only thing they got in exchange for that first blood.
Yeah, I think Mickey could be playing a little more aggressively here, to be honest, and really just bully out this Kassadin. But I guess he's afraid of where Watch is, but they will have eyes on Watch now.
And Watch just playing this top side, trying to help Duke out. Duke having to go for a Negatron first, and he's going to need that Trinity Force. I mean, having a tanky Hecarim, why not just pick Maokai at that point?
Well, I guess Duke wants to finish his tier 2 boots and get the Home Guard enchant as early as possible to help him at least make some plays on the map, even though it may not be the most ideal way to... Actually, no, most people tend to go for the level 2 boots very early anyway, so...
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you get boots and then go straight into a Trinity Force, depending on what you want to do. But when you need the magic resist like Ixu does, those Merc Treads, and also, of course, just the tenacity is hugely helpful against this Rise these days, and prevent an entire rotation of spells on you if you could just escape one of those Rune Prisons a little bit faster.
Yep, and Goong has now hit level 6, but is fairly low on mana, so we'll see how this lane goes from here. But, oh, Lyra looking for something in the top side right now. No flashes.
Wants to wrap around on this, and can they get Duke? Duke going to try and get out. He's going to E, but there's the Rune Prison. He's getting very low already, but that's going to be another kill for Ixu as the Rune Prisons come through, and Duke just can't get out of that situation. You really have to wonder about this draft from Najin. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess Najin and mFire thought that we won that first game so easily that maybe Rebels Anarchy just roll over, but this may be the same way. They might lose this series in the same way that they lost the first time they faced them.
Well, yeah, and they're not doing anything to prevent... Anarchy is just getting these ganks for free, and they're not taking anything on the other side. The red buff is up, they didn't take it. They're not going after the dragon. Watch isn't helping red side, or the helping up in his top lane. So you have to do something here. You can't just roll over and die while they kill your Hecarim over and over and over again.
Well, this Rise will get fairly terrifying, actually fairly quickly. He already has his tier and the Catalyst.
And guess what?
God.
Here we go, right on to Duke. Duke has to ult out. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. Q barely going to miss.
That Rune Prison came in right as his ultimate ended as well, so Ixu has so much power in this lane right now.
Yeah, of course he does, and he doesn't have his flash, so he can't actually commit to that kill, and now Mickey going to go for the one-on-one versus Goon, playing with that wind wall just a bit. Both of them taking quite a bit of damage, and Lyra here for the backup right now as Mickey gets a little bit low. But Duke in this top lane, now there's TP advantage for Ixu. Ixu has been unleashed. Ixu can make plays on the rest of the map. And that means that Najin cannot make invades either.
Ixu unchained indeed. Well, with the Alistar here, there's no wards deep in the bottom side for Ixu to take advantage of right now. He's saving that teleport. He wants to make a play on the map if the opportunity presents itself. Pure sweeps a ward. We'll find nothing, as there is nothing.
Wow, so OQ just going to start spell shielding some of these rockets, but it's not really much of an edge that Najin's been able to pull out in the bottom side. Neither AD carry has recalled yet. It's just all about Ixu and the acceleration of his power spike. OQ going to take a bunch of damage. Has to back off. Going to get a fadeaway boomerang blade for a bit of extra poke on the trade. Lyra's back topside. Watch is still topside here.
4 stacks of passive on Ixu.
They know he's at Raptors now. They can totally do this.
Ixu's flash is back up, and Duke suspects something. He's staying really far back.
Well, he can't do much else at this stage.
Stacks are going to be put back up. Could they dive this? The ultimate is down, but Duke does have Ignite.
I don't know if you do this right now. It's kind of unnecessary. You have 2 stacking items on Rise. And also, you just saw Gragas at Raptors, so he could be making his way up into the top side. Now we see Pure coming in for the counter gank. Watches here. He's going to see Lyra in the tri-brush. Lyra should have a good sense that he could get ganked right here. There it is, coming in, slicing Maelstrom. Lyra just going to get annihilated. He definitely should not have been trying to kill that ward with this last information about where Watch was.
Well, that frees up Duke a little bit to pick up some CS. Now has his ultimate back up along with the Ignite. And I think this is Duke's opportunity if he wants to try to make a play onto this Rise here, who still does have flash though. Well, we see Mercury treads for Duke. We'll see if he goes for the early Home Guard enchant or just starts building straight into his Trinity Force. And, oh boy.
Yeah, I think he needs Home Guard because he's going to have to go back so frequently due to the trades that he's going to be taking not in his favor, that having Home Guard will help him lose less experience and CS.
Yep. And Goon's starting to trade fairly well with Mickey. Mickey wasn't able to punish Goon as much as we thought he would. 13 CS, not the end of the world for a Kassadin.
I suppose the bright spot here with this mid lane Yasuo is that it really does fall off very hard in the late game. It has a very brief power spike window, and even then, it's just not even that great. That's why we don't see it very much. So Mickey's usefulness is not going to be particularly great. He has to actually flash over the wall to get out of that gank. Meanwhile, Goong is really going to power up and be a strong late game carry. Well, a lot of Yasuo's damage will just be negated, and he's going to be stunned if he tries to go in by the Slicing Maelstrom. Ixu getting pushed around by Duke, actually. Lyra's here as well. Watch comes into the top side. Duke on the run. Agony's embraces down. Goog is here. Goog is going to get the kill on Ixu. That's going to be 2 kills over to Najin just for 1.
Goong with the faster roam. He is Kassadin, so he can do that.
Well, Pure is really saving this game by continually roaming into the top side at this point. Without him, this would be a much different situation. However, that said, OQ gets zoned off the turret in the bottom lane. Thanks to his solo presence. There is Slicing Maelstrom up, actually, for Pure.
Yep, and Songyun does have his Sheen, so he'll be putting out a decent amount of damage if Pure gets too close, however.
So in spite of all this insanity in the top side of the map, no one has actually taken a dragon yet.
Or a turret, even. So, slow early game, looks like, even with all those kills.
Wow, Goong has been so delayed in terms of his build because he had to go for the
Seeker's arm guard?
The arm guard first, so this is going to be a super late Rod of Ages, actually, because that's 1,200 gold you spend on the arm guard. So that should set you behind by maybe 3-4 minutes. And that means that he's not going to have a fully stacked Rod of Ages for until maybe 25 to 30 minutes.
Well, Goong did start with the cloth armor from his first buy.
That's true.
So it's not that's 300 gold that he won't be in the hole for.
We'll see when he actually gets the rod.
And meanwhile, Ixu, very close to the Rod of Ages of his own, has that blasting one, so will be putting out a decent amount of damage onto Duke. Even more so than he already is, really.
Duke going for the home guard, which seems a bit necessary right now. Duke actually isn't at as much of a CS deficit as I thought he would be. Unfortunately, Duke was not able to get either of the kills he assisted in, which really would have helped him get back into this game just a little bit. But Rise already strong and going to only get stronger the longer this game progresses and the more stacked up this tier in the Rod of Ages become.
Ixu looking to go home. Teleport is still up. Teleport is up for both top laners right now. And, ooh, bottom lane for Najin and has pushed up immensely.
Yeah, I think Duke has to start making plays here with his home guards, try and affect the rest of the map at the moment. Now he's standing in base. He's thinking about coming into this one. There's the TV. He's going to come into the mid lane. And Watch is going to die to the Ignite, looks like. Goong getting very low, and Duke just can't do anything. With the Ixu there, also Pure going to get the Slicing Maelstrom. A double kill for Mickey. And Snowflower following up on the roam, but 1-for-2 trade. Mickey goes down, but not before he gets kills onto Duke and Watch on a rather ill-conceived all-in right after Mickey had picked up his static shiv. That was a very good timing for them to fight. And you can see Watch coming in, and he actually threw his barrel into the wind wall, so it just disappeared. So he lost a lot of the damage that he would have had. And Duke also trying to push somebody into the turret right there. Onslaught of Shadows comes out, but Pure not there in time for him to get the stun so he could deal a little bit more damage.
Yep, and that could have ended so much worse for Najin had Pure not come there with his Slicing Maelstrom, because most likely Goong was going to get dove with that low amount of HP.
Yeah, and Goong just isn't doing damage yet. He gets his Rod of Ages, so will be stacked about 25 minutes into this game.
Well, Ixu has position on his top lane, but there is a 3-man gank coming in. He pops his ultimate for the speed boost.
There's nothing, he can't get the angle at all. Ixu used his ultimate for speed to get out of the way of the devastating charge, and so that was a lot of resources sent up again into the top side. Finally, Anarchy will respond with a dragon on the opposite side of the map. Someone starting to be able to get that objective, even though there's been so much action topside this game. We're going to be looking for a kill right there. There's a Force Pulse into the enemy team, get some good damage, but that's it. Now, can they get a mid-turret out of this?
Well, Anarchy will have to go a long way around, but that mid-turret is very, very healthy, so maybe... No, it looks like they can get it.
Oh, yeah, no one there to defend. Songyun deciding they just want to push the bottom turret instead. Definitely not a great trade for this Anarchy team, if they can even get it, because Goong is there to clear the wave. Pure also making his way down there. So Najin actually trades a dragon for a mid-turret, and they also committed very hard in top. So Anarchy actually playing that out quite poorly, not getting as many advantages as they could have given the failed nature of that gank.
Well, the bright spot for Anarchy is that the mid lane turret is quite low, so if they group and try to push that down, it will go down very, very quickly, especially with the Triforce now on Corki.
Well, they kind of have to get through the Sivir wave clear is the issue. They may not be able to do that with the Yasuo in the mid lane. Well, it's pretty much just two melee champions. It's all about the Corki and the Sivir wave clear here. That static shiv isn't going to do a whole lot by itself.
Well, to be fair, the Yasuo can stop the Sivir wave clear with his wind wall.
That is true.
Well, Pure checking out where both brushes, making sure there's no hidden surprises there. And OQ look. Oh, Najin mFire with a 4-man stack in the bottom lane, looking to take this tower.
Yep, just trying to keep the pressure on. Songyun wants to get rid of that turret in the mid lane, but maybe, just maybe, Hecarim can save it. Goong and Pure coming around for the side. They want to punish an overextension. On to Duke. It's not going to work, but tower for tower, top goes down as Ixu gets more money.
Duke with the emote spam there in the middle to maybe taunt Rebels Anarchy into going in on the unfavorable engage.
It's all about the mind games, Barry.
All about the mind games. And soon we'll see a Facebook post from Duke saying he won't ever emote again in game.
I hope that's not true. I love it when Duke emotes in games.
Yep. Love it when any player does it, to be honest.
Yeah. It adds flavor. You know, when that happened, I posted on Twitter my favorite moment of emote use.
Oh, yeah.
So at All-Stars in 2013, there was a moment in Korea versus North America where Insec is just standing in mid lane spamming like Zach Laugh.
And Scar's just responding.
Scar's just standing there, and Dyrus is standing in the jungle on Kha'Zix, and there's this huge wraparound by the rest of the Korean teams, and Rivington even says, like, I hope Dyrus isn't looking at this taunting by Insec in the mid lane, and immediately Dyrus just gets hooked by Bad Life and dies for first blood at level 1. It's absolutely hilarious.
I remember watching that live. That was so much fun. That tournament was actually fairly fun to watch.
I mean, if you were a fan of watching Korean players win, which
yes.
I
am.
I definitely am.
I don't know what you're talking about, Monte Cristo, so it was a fun time. Jeez.
It was not so fun for the rest of the world, however.
Well, maybe for NA, they got a win over EU, so they got that going for them.
Yeah, the eternal battle of who is the 3rd/4th best region rages on even to this day.
Man.
I mean, maybe not anymore. Taiwan actually looking pretty good, honestly.
Who is 4th or 5th place? That is a sad thing to fight over. I don't know why NA and EU fans just team up together and try to, you know, show some support for the Western regions against the East. You would think, you know,
because
united,
there's no
stronger.
Hope. There's no hope for that any longer, Barry.
Oh man! And they give the blue buff to Ixu, who will continuously charge that Seraph's Embrace.
Well, Mickey is starting to split push, and that means that we just saw a bunch of turrets go down in favor of Anarchy, who has taken a 3,000 gold lead at this point. Najin's hopes are honestly dwindling because this Goong, they basically have to get picks. That's the only thing Najin can do. They cannot fight in a 5v5. Any kind of Hecarim flank will be instantly stuffed by an Alistar Headbutt or a Rune Prison.
Yep.
So they don't really have that Hecarim damage coming in. That's reliable, at least, off of a teleporting gauge. And this Rise is just going to scale so well against the Kassadin.
So if you're Anarchy, do you go for a 4-man stack in the mid lane and send, like almost what they're doing right now, Mickey in a side lane to just keep split pushing?
Yeah, just 1-3-1 here. You have a Yasuo and a Rise, and you have a Corki just to push up mid. They're playing this out very nicely right now, for sure. This is what you want to do, and all you have to do is be careful about Najin, because they're going to want to catch your Yasuo or your 3-man unit out with their pick potential and try and end the game or get a lead that way.
Ixu is so safe right now.
Oh yeah.
Just keep bullying that Hecarim. And yeah, that's a 50 CS lead for the Rise.
Mickey may not have wanted to walk over that wall, or steal Tempest over that wall, rather. It actually took a huge amount of damage 20 seconds before the dragon spawn.
Oh man, if OQ had an OQ moment right there and just face check that brush to chase after Mickey. If only. Well, Anarchy trying to establish some position, but their wards will be cleared out, and Najin mFire will place their own in return.
Yes, the threat of Ixu remains. He has a Seraph's Embrace fully completed, fully stacked at the moment. Here comes the pick onto Lyra. There's the knock-up. There's the explosive caster. Try and get it, but unfortunately, slicing Maelstrom doesn't land as Pure is just headbutted out, but it's enough damage they can get the dragon.
Yep.
So Najin going to try and win this game off of dragon stacks at the moment. Can they actually do it? They only have 2 at 22 minutes. It's going to be a really long time before they have 5.
Or we'll have 1, in fact.
Oh, 1, you're right. So before they have 5, you're looking at about 45 minutes into this game.
And at that point, Rise will be so terrifying.
Yes, he will be.
And looks like Mickey went for the Infinity. Oh my lord, this is bold.
Well, they think they can do it. They don't know that the ward is there when they started it. They see the ward now, but they want to just burn it down.
There's Ekram coming
Duke coming in from the side. This could be a massive throw for Anarchy, or it could get them the Baron. They're just going to get it.
Oh.
There's no one there. Snowflower provides the zone, and they actually managed to take out the Baron before the rest of Najin can arrive. There was no Slicing Maelstrom. There was no Sivir ultimate.
Well, to be fair, that was a good call from Anarchy because they had so much damage between the Rise and the Yasuo with the Infinity Edge right there. So possibly risky, but Snowflower got them the time, bought them enough time for them to just burst that thing down.
Well, yeah, and Anarchy playing well with the lead. They know how they want to win with this composition, and that split push is going to be so scary now that it's Baron empowered. So Anarchy, it's going to take a miracle actually for Najin to really win this game.
So hopefully Mickey will get his Blade of the Ruin King next to power up his split pushing. But meanwhile, we see Ix is still in that top lane. Teleports are still up for both top laners.
Well, they are just going to put Mickey in mid, actually, send everyone else in the bottom. They have all waves pressuring in their direction.
Duke was sitting in the fountain for a while, but now we'll head back to the top lane. Lord's going down. For Ixu to keep himself safe, they see Mickey coming up.
Yep, just want to get this tower down together as best they can. It's going to be a tier 2 in favor of Anarchy. They spent a lot of time just walking around the map and not doing a whole lot, but now finding that turret finally.
Well, both teams are set up in the jungle for possibly a big and apocalyptic team fight, but apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. You nailed it on the second try.
I know. English is my second language, Monte Cristo.
Apoplectic.
Apoplectic.
That's a different word.
I know. Well, maybe that is what you will be if Anarchy somehow manages to throw this game.
Maybe. That might, in fact, be me. Apoplectic. Claims that English is a second language, knows what apoplectic means. Good job, Barry.
Oh, man.
I could see through your lies.
Hey, it's not a lie. It technically is my second language. I was born in Korea. I learned Korean first.
Alrighty. Alrighty there, buddy, but you learned English pretty fast thereafter.
What can I say? I'm a quick study with languages.
Yeah, I guess you are. So, actually not that much taken on the Baron buff. When the dust settles, they could have actually pushed that probably significantly harder.
Well, still 5k gold lead for a scaling composition that Anarchy is fielding, which is still in a very good spot for them. So,
I mean, Anarchy, one of their major flaws has been closing out games. They've actually been in one of the worst teams at that in the league. Even when they get those advantages, they don't push it enough so that it allows the enemy team to get to the super late game in that 6-item spot. Then Anarchy will make a mistake and lose.
Snowflower being caught out. Snowflower has to pop his ultimate.
And here we go, coming in. So Pure comes in for the side. He's going to get a big stun on a bunch of people. Still falls to Mickey's Yasuo. Mickey in the backline all over OQ. They're trying to cut it out. OQ gets the last breath and he gets dunked. And Duke actually takes the kill onto the Yasuo, but it's a 1-for-3. Mickey dies, but gets the necessary damage. He's very far ahead right now.
Watching Ixu's health bar was like watching the stock market. It went down, then up, then he had that Seraph's Embrace shield, and it's just up and down constantly.
Yes, that's right, and now they just push forward. Ixu playing the stock market on his American skin.
Capitalist Rise.
Capitalist Rise. How come there's not like a Karl Marx skin in this game?
Oh man, who would it be? Who would you give it to? Well, let's look at this first before we ruminate on that.
Yeah, Snowflower takes a bunch of damage, but Najin commits onto a champion that has a huge amount of damage reduction. They get the exhaust off onto Mickey immediately, but Mickey does a really good job of moving through this team fight to get on top of OQ for the slam dunk at the end onto Sivir.
Yep. All right, back to the essential question.
It's also a Rise skin.
It's also a Rise skin?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
Why not? It's a guy with who could be carrying the, you know, Das Kapital on his back.
You know, I was thinking like maybe Soraka because she, you know, equalizes the health of everybody on her team by sacrificing.
Should it be Rumble with the equalizer?
That is true. Oh man! And just instead of a robot, it's just a giant statue of the communist the communist industrial machine.
the people, the workers.
Oh man, that would be actually pretty awesome. Instead of like his little mace at one hand or a drill, he just has like this hammer.
The hammer and sickle?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Mark's Rumble.
Let's kickstart this.
Marxist Rumble.
The more I think about it, the funnier it is. Well, Ixu goes back to split pushing. Fairly uncontested. No teleports up, so Najin is in no place to defend this. What is Najin doing?
Well, Barry, they started this game with an absolutely ridiculous draft, and now they're going to lose this game.
Oh my lord. Well, they got the flank, but Anarchy just going to back away towards Ixu in the top lane.
Yeah, just go ahead. Assault and siege that top lane turret. There's no one there to stop you right now. Pure can get in with the flash slicing maelstroms. You have to be a little bit careful. Coom getting chopped up. And Mickey going to get an ult off before he dies, but that's going to be a pick for Najin as Mickey gets cut off. They get the inhibitor turret. Now Najin going to try and finish this in some sort of fashion. They want the rest of these kills. Ixu has a GA, and he's going to turn around onto watch immediately.
Ixu's passive is up now.
Yeah.
Well, disengage.
I mean, there's nothing they can do even in a 5v4.
Well, and Rebels Anarchy back off. The Dragon is now live, so maybe they're heading for that right now.
Only another 20 minutes before they get 5 stacks if they get all of the rest of them.
Oh, God. Najin has somewhat of a position. OQ is all alone, but still does enough damage to dissuade Lyra from aggressing on him. Oh, dear.
So Najin wants this dragon. They're going to be able to get it. Baron up in 7 seconds. They're going to get the dragon, and then maybe they can force a Baron fight, actually. Well, this is about as good as it's going to get. So
they're standing on a ward.
They are, and Yasuo is not there. Okay, this is a net 5v4 for a few seconds. Not going to go after it. They want the Baron fight. If they can get it, could be absolutely huge. Could turn this game around.
That was such a good idea, except just that ward ruined everything.
Well, I'm not sure about that. If they had, I don't think they were going to be able to actually legitimately
win that fight.
Well, they could win the fight, but I don't think Najin was going to actually go in there.
Well, they see recalls going out of Rebels Anarchy.
I mean, if they recall, Najin can just do the Baron. What? What is this game, Barry? What is this game? Free Baron. Free Baron for Najin. Anarchy mass recalls.
On wards. Oh, my lord.
My mind is being blown. We started this game. Okay, there's a TP. They're going to try and fight at the very least. So Anarchy trying to make up for their mistake. They're going to try and get Ixu, though. Ixu gets focused. He has the GA, but there's still so much damage to last breath. And Anarchy going to power on through. Can they actually finish the game right now? They're on the Goon. Oh, Mickey. So much damage. Yeah, the Quadra's going to come. There it is.
Dude coming, giving the Penta. He's just going to sit there. Dude's just sitting there.
Barry, this is hands down one of the worst games of the season.
Oh man!
Absolutely appalling.
What about the KTIM game?
That was at least more exciting than this one, Barry.
Well, Rebels Anarchy ties up the series 1-1 off the back of a very fed rise. So GG.
I mean, I can't take away from Anarchy playing the laning phase well, but that was such a baffling draft from Najin. And then followed up by just free Barons for everybody. Holy cow, man. Najin. He's got to take this to game 3. So I don't know who's going to win this series anymore with that kind of performance. Anarchy actually playing that out. And Mickey did very well on the Yasuo. Got fed. Had some really good team fighting on that